Hello everyone, this is Lam here. In today's Fuji Friday, I want to talk a little bit about the successor to the X-T20, which is the X-T30. It just got announced, and I don't think anybody was surprised at anything that they said. It was actually a very good showing of the X-T30, but it wasn't a very wowing experience. In other words, there wasn't anything new or unexpected that they actually showcased for us, which, I mean, for a price point camera and for a camera that's supposed to be ultra compact, I don't think that's really that big of an issue. But let's go ahead and get into some of the specifics. I'm not going to go through all of the detailed bullet points. I'm just going to put it on the screen because you can just read those. I'm pretty sure if you're actually interested in any of the Fuji cameras, you've probably already looked over the specifications. But suffice to say that the X-T30 is basically a mini or a baby X-T3, which is great because we love the features coming out of the X-T3. A couple of things to highlight, of course, is that we're getting the new sensor, and more importantly, we're getting the new processor, which means we're getting all of the advanced focusing features, which is really the standout feature for all of the current generation of XT cameras. So that's something that's really good to hear. What we're really basically missing out on is the dual card slots. We're also missing a little bit in terms of performance, in terms of frames per second, but that's not really the big deal. In terms of the video side, we're losing the 4K 60, but again, I don't think that's a big deal because we're still getting the 120 frames at 1080p, which I find to be a little bit more useful anyways. Of course, we don't get the dual card slots due to the size of the camera, and the ports are going to be a little bit smaller, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. But for the size, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. And of course, we're also going to be missing weather sealing. That's a price point thing, and the screens are going to be a little bit lower spec than what we're going to find on the X-T3. But overall, though, for the price point, which is under $1,000, which is right now at around $900, I think that's actually a very good, capable camera, and it's going to be really good for anybody who wants a entry-level camera that can be really powerful. Now, the elephant in the room that everybody's going to be talking about on YouTube is the fact that the X-T30 will not have a flip out screen. Instead, it's going to have the same type of screen in which you can flip up and down, and that's about it. It's going to be really great for photographers, but for vloggers, for people that want to film themselves, the fact that it won't flip out sideways is something that we've been looking forward to, but we're still not getting in the X-T30. This is something of a surprise even to me because in the X-T100, we actually have a design that can actually flip out to the side as well as articulate up and down. I feel that that is the best design that Fuji has come out with, and the fact that they didn't implement it on the X-T30 is a bit of a downside for me. I'm very disappointed in that. Now, I have been on record to say that if they wanted to keep this type of screen on their cameras, I'm perfectly happy with that, so long as there's a way to actually modify the screen. In other words, for me to send in that camera and get a flip out screen. That's something that I'm really looking forward to. I either want the X-T100's design, or I want a screen in which I can actually go ahead, send this into Fuji, and actually have them replace it with a flip out screen. That's something that I've been looking forward to, and I'm hoping in the next generation of cameras they'll put in that design feature, because that's something that I've been looking forward to. As it stands right now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to not want to buy the X-T30 just for the fact that there is no flip out screen. And that's a major bummer because we are missing out on a growing market segment, and that's something that I think Fuji should capitalize on as soon as they can. There are a couple of ergonomic things that I do want to talk about. So this right here is my X-T20, which is my tried and true camera. First camera that I started out with. And one of the things that you'll notice when you compare it to the X-T30 is that the D-pad is no longer there. This is kind of a swap. So you're going to be getting a joystick instead of a D-pad. So is it really better? I think it is, because I use the eye cup quite a bit. And when you actually have your eye up to the eye cup, having a joystick is super useful. What you're losing with the D-pad is that you're losing a way to actually quickly access different sort of menu options, which is something that I'm really going to miss. It is slightly better in my opinion, but that's something that's going to be kind of preferential per individual. What you'll notice over here is that they actually made this larger, and then they added the quick button onto that actual nub of this area, which I'm not really sure how that's going to go, to be honest with you. I'm going to try it out to see if I actually like it up there. they actually had to make room there, which is something that you really need to do. One thing that you'll notice when you're using the X-T30 is that it's actually very easy to hit these buttons, especially when you're, running and gunning and you're just grabbing and going. Hitting these buttons is something that's super easy to do, and having less buttons here sometimes is a really good thing, especially if you're in a hurry. One thing that I wish that they added though is that on the X-T3 right here, you'll notice that there is a button, a custom button right here. I kind of wish they added it over here on the X-T30, because we're going to be losing the D-pad, which means we're going to be losing a lot of custom button features. Had they actually added a button up here, that would kind of alleviate losing the D-pad, which is something that would be great. But overall, all of the dials remain the same, and they're very ergonomic and they're very easy to use. I'm really looking forward to actually getting my hands on an X-T30 and playing around with the new features that are going to be coming with it. Now that we've gone over the comparison between the X-T20 and the X-T30, I just want to give you some opinions on who the camera is for. If you're a person that's actually doing video, upgrading to the X-T30 I think is a no-brainer, just because having 4K and then having all the advanced focusing features is going to be super helpful to you. It's one of the real big downsides to the X-T20 is that once you bump up to 4K recording, you're very limited in what you can do with the X-T20. So going up to the X-T30 to really get some really good quality advancements in video, you're really going to like it, and it's a no-brainer to get that well in advance. If you're on the photography side, what I would recommend to you is actually to wait for it to go on sale. The reason why I say that on the photography side is because the photography advancements, it's nowhere near as big as what it is on the video side. So I think you can actually forego upgrading for quite a while. But if you do want the latest and greatest, I would recommend waiting for a sale. One thing that you can really look forward to when you get the X-T30 is because of the new sensor and also the new processor, there's going to be a bunch of new firmwares to come. Whereas I think with the X-T20, I think they kind of maxed out the current generation of sensor that's in the X-T20 and also the processor. So I don't think we're going to be seeing many more software advancements for the X-T20. So if you really want to keep up with the latest and greatest, you're really going to have to upgrade up to the X-T3 or the X-T30. Overall though, I think for the price point and also at the time that it's coming out, it's going to be a very good capable camera. For anybody who's really wanting to jump into the Fuji system, I think this is a great camera for it. Not this one, the X-T30. One of the bundles that I really like, and it's probably the one that I'll be getting, is the X-T30 combined with their 15 to 45 millimeter lens. It's not exactly a great lens, but to get it for $100, and it's ultra compact, and it's actually at a zoom range to where it's going to be great for photography, but it's also great for vlogging. I really wanted to test out that lens, but I didn't really want to pay the $300 price tag. But if I were able to get it for $100 and upgrade to an X-T30, that's something that I'm super interested in. Anyhow, that's all I have. Tell me what you think about the camera. Are you interested in getting one? Because I am definitely willing to upgrade. I think the X-T20 is the last generation of camera body in which I'm willing to sell it to upgrade to the newest one. When the X-H1 actually upgrades, I think I'm actually going to end up keeping the X-H1's body because it does everything that I need it to do. And I'm only really upgrading to the next generation just to keep up with the advancements in technology. But that's all I have this week. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.